All right, Jeremy's gonna bail. That's cool, don't worry about it. You can come back, listen another time. We're building a React app. Woohoo! And if you've watched me, you know how I feel about React. Right now, actually, it's working fine. I'm pretty happy with where we're at here. So let's take a look at it real quick. So here is the web app we are constructing. We're working on encoding numbers here. And so this is our page. I'm going to open up the debugger. And here's where we are at. This is a tutorial documentation. It's interactive documentation that is going to explain how encoding numbers into binary representations works. This is what you have to do to get your data into a format that your brain can comprehend. At least our simulations of brain matter can comprehend. Thanks, HSGO, for joining. You need to go to bed. Get to sleep. You can always watch later. I put all this stuff on YouTube. We've been going for 3 hours now. Wow. Okay, so this is complete with code examples. Like here's an example of a very, very simple encoder. And then here I show examples of it working, and so I've got a bunch of diagrams. That's what we're doing, is we're converting these diagrams I've already written into React components. So we're creating a React application. And so cool thing about this is it's all going to be reactive in that you can change the parameters of things and all of the diagrams update. So we're going to have a bunch of ways for the user to tune things and to see the diagrams change in real time. Here's another one where we're encoding using a resolution instead of a min and a max. That's a concept of scalar encoding. And now here we are at the cyclic encoder. So this is where we left off in my last BHTMS stream. What we were about to do is hook up this button right here that says line circle. That's weird. There we go. And it's a toggle button, and what it needs to do is this whole array of circles here is going to transform from a line into a circle. So, and you can see this, this is the original building HTML systems that we're looking at, we're converting from. So here's what it's supposed to do. Boop. That's what we're gonna do. This one's written in a slightly different way. We're gonna create it as a React diagram instead of whatever this is. But that's basically what these circles are gonna do. That's the challenge. That's today's task. This is the cyclic encoder. So I'm going to close Discord for the moment because it's distracting. I swear I just closed it. Okay. And so let's just see what the state of my code is right now, because I don't remember what. Usually when I leave for the week, I don't have anything to commit, but apparently I left for the week on Friday, and I still had a bunch of stuff that I hadn't committed yet. I hadn't even added the toggle button, so that was something David helped me out with. Oh, are you online, Dave? You are. Dave, is this Dave? This isn't Dave, this is a different Dave. There's a lot of Daves that are helping me. I think it was David Truman was the guy that was helping me earlier. Maybe that's still you. Okay, so we got the toggle button, we got this thing. This is what I was messing with, was these scales. It's the one and only David Duck. I'll just call you, I like calling you D-Duck. It's like a superhero name. All right, so I'm just trying to figure out where I was. I was partially through this. I'm gonna commit this as it is right now to the branch, knowing that it's not everything's working. Well, I mean, nothing's broken, but I haven't implemented everything yet. So let's just add these components and pages. The old source shouldn't be added. Toggle cycle number, okay. Can't add. Toggle button for cyclic line/circle option. Push origin cyclic scalar. All right, anyone who wants the most up-to-date version of the code can go get it there from my branch. All right, so I'm gonna close this fancy cyclic encoder display is just what we were using as a reference, because this has the code I was stealing. That code, yeah, cyclic encoder. So once we get this working, we're going to see if there's an opportunity to create an abstract class for our D3 components, because we're going to have 2 React diagrams that are D3 components. It's quick overview here. Here is the source code. Everything starts with pages index. Okay, that's the main page, and these are all pages. And we're working on encoding numbers. That's the page we're working on. So that's what we're looking at here, is an encoding numbers page. And so we've got pages here, and React components are in this components folder. So I have a couple of generic components like a layout, a header, and this code syntax tool that someone else helped me with. And these are our inputs. Like there's a number input, the thing that I clicked up and down, it's something David helped me with. The scrubber I'm not currently using, but I might come back to, and this toggle button. The diagrams are all here in the diagrams thing. And currently we've got simple scalar encoder, which is basically all of the scalar encoders so far that you've seen on the screen are using this. And we've got a cyclic scalar encoder, which is a lot of copy-paste code. And the only one on the screen that is a cyclic encoder is this one right here. All the others are instances of the simple scalar encoder. Okay, so now we're working on basically our second diagram class, and once we get it into place and it's working, we'll look at potentially pulling an abstract base class out of them that perhaps deals with D3 directly, something like that. We'll see if we need to do that. You don't want to haphazardly create abstract classes, but you don't want to repeat too much code either. Okay, so first thing I wanted to do was to get this button working, circle line, and we're not going to do the transitions just yet. I think that's where I left off. Here's the code. Render output cells. Yeah. So this is what's creating the circles. I believe, isn't this treat cells? Yeah, I changed this treat cells. Yeah, here's what's doing the circles. And this bit, all that I copied out, is creating a data array that represents the state of each circle as it moves. And so we're not quite doing that yet. Right now we're just sending the raw encoding in, and that's what we're using to create the circles. But let's start now. We're going to take that encoding and we're going to amplify it a bit. Okay, so we're going to take the encoding and we're going to transform it into something a bit different. And we're going to return an out that has a CX and a CY. In addition to a bit, and the bit is either on or off. We're just going to have a CX and a CY, and that's what we're going to use when we're deciding where CX and CY should be here. So if we do this, and we create the CX and CY, we're basically doing this calculation here, no longer here. So this we're going to change, and this is no longer going to be a function. We're going to have an inline function here. I don't think I need this, right? Let's try and do this all like harmonic in a harmony way. We're also going to have access to D and I here. D is the data point. That's going to contain the bit, the CX and the CY, and I is going to be the index of the data point, which I'm not sure we're going to need. But in this case, if we're going to calculate this, we're just going to return d.cx, and here we'll return d.cy. Let We don't need to even acknowledge that index. So we're essentially saying if the display state is a circle, we're going to calculate where that x value is based on circle math. If it's a line, we're going to do it based on linear math. Let's see what happens. Everything broke. Okay, so encoding is not defined. That's just because I needed this. I just need this dot encoding dot map, and then we're not sending this encoding in. We're just going to send this data array. So I forgot to do that. I think that's right. All right. What else is wrong? Bucket spread is not defined. So let's see. Bucket spread. That's something from this old code that I probably have hard coded somewhere. No. Okay, that's something I removed earlier. I didn't think I needed. Okay. I think it was up here. Buckets, this encoder, display size, this center. I'm not sure we need. Oh, I hate that I did variables like this. I hate it. I went through this phase of saying let this equal blah, comma, this equal blah, comma, this equal blah, comma, and now I wish I never would have done it, because every time I come across it, it makes it hard to comment lines out. So I just want to be able to do this. Don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. Whoops. Do I need this? Yeah, so all I need is the number of buckets. All right, I'm not certain I need any of this, but I'm gonna keep it here for just a moment. Whoops. I'm gonna keep it here for a moment. Why not const? Yeah, I don't know why not const. Because I'm still getting used to using the latest JavaScript. Okay, let's see what happens. We should have bucket spread now. The next error, size is not defined, 156. This is what happens when you copy and paste code. Okay, so there's a size here. And, oh, so I just need this equals this size. Where am I getting this size? Ops.size. I think this is diagram width, I think, in my new model. I think it's diagram width. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so size is going to be, let's put it up here and change it. It's going to be props.diagram width. So we'll need that. What else breaks? Display state, that's just going to be simple. This dot, okay, yeah, how did we do display state now? Where am I getting it? It's what we should be setting. It's what the toggle button is set. So this may be new code that we need to put in place, because it's how are we creating it? Let's take a look quick. Get out of this old source. In the page numbers, when we create this cyclic encoder here, cyclic encoder, we're sending it in the display state. So it should be a prop. I'm just checking, double checking here. So display state is going to be this dot props dot display state. Okay. Same thing, I think. 182. I think I just need to replace. Oh yeah, that's it. Thank you. That's even better. I don't even think I need this, so I'm gonna take that out. Isn't this? I love how you could just change the code. It's amazing. Is there anything else that's coming from props? No. Okay, so that display state needs to be. What was it? 182. Hey Jasper, thanks for hosting. 169. Is it linear scale? Okay, so the linear scale that I've defined for D3 happens all the way up here, and it's this one. It's val to screen, so I think that's the one that I want. That's the scale that I want to use here. And that is just a, that's just a this property. Yeah. So linear scale, just gonna call it this val to screen. Let's see what breaks. All right, nothing broke. So if, I'm not sure if this is gonna work. Oh, now I've got a little bit of a display problem, but let's, yeah, okay. So when I click it, it says center is not defined, 156. That's in the handler, I think. Or no, it's in the repaint, center. So I need a center, of course. That makes sense. Center, and this isn't gonna be, yeah, size. Okay, that's fine. That's the center of the larger circle that we're going to be wrapping the line around. So let me click here. Yeah. So this line here is going to be displayed as a circle down here, and the center is right here when we click this. Not quite. We're almost there. 157 radius, and our radius is passed in. So how did I find this? I think it's just going to be half of the, how do I calculate this, that radius? Equals, never is calculated. I think I do pass it in. I don't want that to be a parameter. I think I'll make the radius of the circle, I don't know, half of the diagram width. We'll just see. Just see how that works, and get rid of this. I don't think we need that SVG. I don't think we need that either. There we go. Hey, look at that. Boom, 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 boom. That's successful. I like that. All right, so we got something working here. So does everybody understand what we did there? All we're doing is, instead of passing the encoder data directly in, we're going to transform it a little bit, and we're going to calculate our CX and CY as we pass through. And in one aspect, if it's a circle, we're going to do circle math to figure out what the CX and CY is of each. And if it's not, we'll just do the linear math. So it's pretty simple. What gets tricky is when you want to do this transition. So first of all, let's place this in the right spot, because it's, first of all, the radius is a little bit too big. So let's go check the radius here, and let's make it a little smaller. Okay, maybe a little bit. Maybe even a little bit bigger than that. We'll see. Okay, we'll just leave it at that for now. But the line should be down lower. And so that's probably easy enough to do. We'll just bump them both down by this, what is ratio to top? Size divided by 20? Is that really what I want there? I don't think so. What happens if I do this? Okay, it moves it down. That's not really what I want. Why can't it just be a padding? Let's just say top cell padding. And we'll just give it, I don't know, 100 pixels for the moment. And then we'll get rid of this ratio to top thing. We're just gonna make the line will be at the top. And this one will be the top plus whatever the circle math is. So hopefully it'll start there, yeah. Somewhat, sort of. Of course, my circle math is going to be off because the radius is. Okay. we're hacking this a little bit right now, but I don't mind too much. I just wanted to display right, and we can come back and clean it up later. That's close. Let's move this up a little. And then we're gonna make it transform. soon. That's all right. That's good. Okay. Okay, the idea, okay, why are all the bits on? The bits shouldn't all be on at this point. It should be 10 bits on, but we've got them all on. So there's something wrong in our loop here where we're creating the data array. The bits should not always be on. Oh, we're not doing the bit properly. So I'm saying output bit is bit. What did I do here? If bit return on color. So so let's just inspect this. I want to see exactly what this data object looks like. Where are we here? Cyclic scalar. Yeah, let's right after it does this, let's see what that data object looks like. Is it not gonna do it? There we go. Okay, so the data object bits 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, all zeros. There's a few ones. Okay, so it's done that properly. So right here, when we're deciding how to fill it, we should also break. Oh, interesting. Doesn't happen very often. Hello. Okay, that's odd. So it's usually, we should get a break right here. Let's, why isn't that breaking? Sometimes with React, I have to like force a debugger to catch something. I don't know why. Okay. And this is actually, that's not where I want the debugger. I want the debugger right here. I want to see what this data thing is. Are they on or is it styled? Is what on? What do you mean? Oh, you mean, so this is an SVG fill color. And so I'm basically saying if it's on, if D is on, oh, I see what it is. D is now, I used to depend, D has, it's just dot bit. So all I need to do is say dot bit. That's it. That's all. So that's easy. That was just my, while I was transitioning from one to the other. There we go. Okay. Now, so if I do circle, it should still work. Let me turn this off because it updates a whole lot better. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful, huh? So, but it is apparently bounded and it shouldn't be. It should roll over. So do I have to, maybe bounded might be the default. No. Get range from bit index handle. Not dealing with that quite yet. Where do I create my encoder? Bounded should be false by by default, I think. No, bounded is an entirely different encoder. How did I do this in the other one, in the fancy one? Encoder equals cyclic encoder. Oh, I actually am using a cyclic encoder, so that's what I need to do. I need to use the cyclic encoder. It's a, so if you look here in the page, there's a link to the cyclic encoder. It's super simple. It's just doing a little different application of the bit mask. So I think that's all what we need to do is in our cyclic encoder, we use cyclic encoder. I'm hoping that's it. Yeah, cyclic encoder. And where I created that encoder, which was, I believe, there it is, scalar encoder. We're going to create a cyclic encoder. I think it takes the exact same parameters. Circle. There we go. Look at that. It cycles perfectly. And so we get to the end and it loops around the front. That's what the cyclic encoder does, essentially. Same thing here. You get to the end and it loops around the front. All right. So that looks nice. So let's do the transitionary parts now. So now we're going to do if, so here's a tricky bit, because we have to create an animation context or an animation handle. And when someone clicks on the toggle, let's go back to, not this one, coding numbers. When someone clicks on the toggle, basically the display state's going to change. And when the display state changes, this thing will re-render, and it has to check the display state to see how it re-renders. So, yeah, component did update, right? That sounds right to me. In Cyclic encoder, and I've already got this component did update bit here. Yeah, so if it's, there you go. If the other property, what was it called? Display state, yeah. Perfect. And then we're just gonna do the same thing. I think we'll just whoops. We will just do the same thing. We'll use this dot display state. Right? And then everywhere I've got this dot props. Oops. Oh, gosh. It's not many. Yeah, that's just, this is for the transition, but I mean, it'll, so the button will, so here's the idea. I'm gonna have to change the button logic for this, I think. Because what should happen is there's a, okay, so now I gotta think about this actually. Because what happened in the old one was when you hit the button, there's a period of time where you animated from one state to the next, where it was in a transitionary state. Yeah, this is what will update whenever someone presses the button. The thing I'm wondering about is right now the button has two states, line or circle. And I need to have these states that are line to circle and circle to line. And I need to know how long the animation is. That's how I do the calculations in the data array. So what's going to get here is just line or circle. And so I need to check if, like, I've got similar code in here that does this type of checking. In two places, like so we need to, so I'm depending on a display state being line to circle or not. I'm wondering what the best way to do this is. We could set the display state from the outside and handle the animation there, but I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think if the display state gets set on this component, it should kick off an animation, create an animation handle for it, and then transition to the next state internally, and that's it. So all you're really telling it is what state it should be in, line or circle. So I know one of the things that we need is animation duration. Let's just make it 500 milliseconds for now. And so, so what should happen here is if I set the display state, it's not as simple as just setting the display state. This is where the animation would kick off. We would first check to see if we are in an animation currently or not. Before we start animating. So if somebody tries to set it back and forth, it won't work. But let's just, I had an animation handle, I think, in this one. Where was it? It was in a different, where did I have an animation handle? You helped me hook it up, I thought. It was in the page, now that I think about it, right? Yeah, this is the animation handle. So if I want an animation handle for my React component, I'll do basically what you did here. I'll create a handle. I'll put it as a member. So I've got animation duration, animation handle. This is not a. This is going to change, right? So I want to. This is not a constant. I don't. Let's take that out for now. Let's put these together. Oh, research meeting was pretty complicated. It was hard to keep up. Okay, similarly, we have this animate value. So we'll create a function, right, that animates similar to this. Now, this one is a trigger. So this isn't going to be a trigger like this. It's just going to be you can just make it a function. It doesn't have to return a function. So we'll create something and we'll do something similar to this. Clear interval, blah, 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 right? That's what I'm thinking. Default style. Did I put this in the right place? This should be not here, but here, right? Yeah, this should be here. Well, the duration could be here. I don't know. I don't know about that. We'll see. I might move it. But the animation handle should be here. And then we'll create a animate display state. All right, and that will clear the interval. Something similar to this. This is what I typically will do is I'll create an amount of cuts, and this isn't going to work the same way, but it's sort of similar. So new state. What was that? Oh, okay. Let me just think this through. So I'm going to clear whatever animation handle we have had, and I am for a certain amount of time, which will be not the speed. Well, no, the speed will be set interval. Okay. So I'm just doing, doesn't necessarily need to be a duration here. I don't really need a duration. I can just code this by like cuts. So what I need here and able to display the things I want is I need to be able to calculate CX and CY based on how far through the data array we are, and the CY is this dot transition. How do we do that? If we're going line to circle, I wonder if I screwed this up. I'm looking at the old code right now. Update display. Why did I change all this stuff? Check line 63 in the Cyclic encoder. Oh. reuse the page animate to value. I think you need an animate to value function to call. Then you need to, for each the data, update the new CX, CY, and render output cells. Then do next slice until done. This component did update happens before render output cells, obviously. I am trying to... I need to create these values here, the CX and the CY. We need to create that based on how far along in the animation we are. So like the animation needs to have a starting point, and yes, component did update will happen before it renders. That's good, because whatever I do in component did update needs to be accessible in the render function. I'm curious now. Here, okay, maybe it should work like this. How about this? Bear with me, Dave. Listen to this. Maybe this is what you're getting at, but we have this React component. I want to set a state on it. I want to say set state line, and it's going to animate from whatever state it's in to a line. Now, from the outside, well, let's say I want it to transition over 50 steps, to go from one state of the line to a circle. As soon as I get updated to a line here and component did update, I know it's going to render, but now I need to kick off something that basically is going to re-render every for 50 steps. So I need to perhaps, I don't know what the best way to do this is. So you're saying you can just put that logic into an animate to value. So you pass it like animate current to target, and it will automatically interpolate. You would just return before calling this .update right here. Oh, you mean call animate to instead of update? And then the animate to would do the update. I'm trying to reconcile this with with what D3 is going to be doing. Okay, you can pseudocode it, but I'm trying to think like the way that I had it written in the fancy encoder was didn't use this component to update thing. It was like setting a state. How did it do it? Oh, I can't remember. I should probably undo all these changes. I don't know why they were there. Okay. Where's the button toggle? Got display state. Okay, here's the function I had. Transition from and to. And I was creating an animation handle just like I was saying, and calling update display. All right. So I have this transition variable. So here's this transition variable. I think this is what I am using somewhere else. Here it is. So circle to line scale. Okay, so this is what I was missing. Circle to line scale Y, and it takes this transition. What is this? It's just a scale. It's a linear scale. And this transition, right. So I'm using the linear interpolation that D3 does to identify where in the transition space I am based on this transition variable. So I need to keep track of, so when someone presses that button and I get an update and I'm saying, okay, I'm a circle, now I need to be a line. I need to, first of all, update my state to circle to line, kick off an animation, set a transition. The animation is then going to update the transition every time it intervals and update, and then that will animate the thing. It's a bug. All right, I gotta close this window. It's cold in here now. So I think that's close. I think what I was just saying is close. I just have to, at least that's how I would do it with D3 is create a scale that helps me transition circle to line versus line to circle. And these are different only because, well, they're inverses of each other, aren't they? No, they're not. So we're actually doing this to work with the height and the these are both about height. This is all about height. The X is easy, I think. The X is easier. Or is it? Circle to line scale X. All right. Oh, here you go. He's pseudocoding it up. I'm gonna eat some of my sandwich, you guys. If you'll excuse me for a moment. Is that the right one? No, here we go. So I'm not sure what the best way to do. I mean, it seems like component did update is going to be set when toggle button is pressed, but all this other state, maybe not. I mean, all the other internal state, because we're going to loop through a whole bunch of different, we're going to transition from one state to another. So there's going to be a bunch of states, line to circle, circle to line, whatever. And each one of those has to render to get where we're going. So I did that. But we should be able to do that manually by calling update. Bye, Falco. Thanks for joining. Can't miss the Belgian Miss Universe? Is that what you said? Queen Elizabeth contest? Or is that like a TV show? Violin, interesting. That sounds fun. Hey NetPixel, thanks for asking, because I'm not trying to make money. My company's not trying to make money off Twitch. We're just trying to spread information and engage our community. So if you want to help out, just spread the word. And you've been helping, so you're doing enough. You can certainly subscribe. That helps. It just helps me look better. Just like that. Thanks, NetPixel. And now you get a little brain by your name in chat. Twitch is doing a great service. I don't mind them taking a cut. It's not really a service. They're making bucos money, I'm sure. Check this out, David. David's busy coding. While I'm eating a sandwich. I should open Discord back up, just in case. Some of this technical stuff, honestly, might be better to do offline and come back with a good explanation of it instead of dragging all you guys through the dirt as I figure out what needs to be done. So there's a simple solution here, I think. So, yeah, I like that. So this transition output cells line to circle, then a circle to line. So the tricky thing is, this is sort of what, I'm doing this through D3. So all I need for the D3 stuff to work is just a transition number. Basically, how many cuts do I want to make from A to B? That's how many transitions, or how many steps in the transition. And then I have to have this anchor, this cursor through the transition. If I have that, so if someone presses the line button and I know I need to transition from circle to line, I have to kick off the animation, create this transition cursor, and then within the animation, update the screen, update the animate, update whatever, update the transition cursor, and then the D3 will do everything else. So I think that's the right thing to do here. So I'm not sure this. Whoa, what's that? Huh. It's like a little hint. So I'm not sure this is necessary. What all I really think I need, and this seems familiar. This is what I did in the last one, but I'm not manipulating the data array here. That's the thing you have to think about. In this component did update, I'm not manipulating the data array. The data array is recreated on every update right here. And what we're gonna need access to is this transition. All I need is this transition. So the animate loop is just going to kick off the animation and then decide how many cuts they're gonna be and then update this transition, some type of transition cursor, counter, or whatever. And we're gonna use it in the D3 render to decide where those circles are gonna be. I think I've got it in my head now, what I wanna do. But I don't, unless, but I do have to at some point to make a decision. You know, I have to inspect the state. So I just got a state set. What's my state now? Is it the same state? Okay, then I do nothing. Is it the opposite state? Then I have to go into this transitionary state called line to circle. Kick off a transition, or kick off an animation loop, and then set my transition cursor, and then move it ahead through the animation loop, rendering every time. So we'll do that through component did update instead of calling update, which is what you said originally, David, which makes sense to me. So if we do this display state thing here, this is where we'll let me do this. Create animation handle here. Create animation handle. Create a transition cursor through. Let's just show you transition cursor, and then animation updates each time. Calls update, I guess, each time. But at first it sets transition cursor, calls update each time. Let's do that. Cursor. So that's what we're gonna do, I think. And it's much like in this fancy encoder thing. We'll figure that out. So let me look at this animation thing. It's like this. Let me just copy and paste this because it's very similar, I think, to what this is going to be. This type of transition. I don't know if we're going to do this line to circle bit deal, but this handle anyway, I think is going to be pretty similar. So you're not sure if this is the right approach. I don't know if we need to store the display state at all. I'm not sure. Maybe we don't even need this. So let's start with the handle. I've already named it, animation handle. I'm gonna get rid of this too. I don't think this is the right place to do it. No, I don't think this is the right thing to do. I don't think this is the right thing to do because all we need to do is so bear with me here. Bear with me. All we need to do is, I think, call this the animation handle. Where did I kill that thing? Oh yeah, I cleared it there. Okay. Okay, so we create the animation and then we we do this thing. We need to create an animation cursor, or this transition bit. Whatever we create here needs to be accessible within D3's loop. So I think we need to attach it to this. And I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to use a me here, right? To get access to this, unless I'm missing something. So I'm gonna create this transition thing, and I haven't created how many cuts there are. It doesn't really matter. We could just say let. Okay. 16. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. And then we have to have a count. I think. So this animation handle is essentially going to run. Is this wrong? Hold on. Why is this there? It's just a bad indentation, I think. Okay, I'm just clean this up. I don't think we need to do that. Okay, so assuming we have a new display state here, so we're either moving from line to circle or circle to line. Sorry, I haven't paid attention to chat. Let's see. Keeping track of my transition, incrementing the counts. If the counts goes over the cuts, then we have finished the display. So that's the point where we update the display, which would be me.display state. So maybe we can get rid of these intermediate states somehow, because I never liked them. And then we'll delete the transition and then update this. Whoops, how did that happen? I think I hit the wrong button. All right, I'm not certain this is gonna work, but let's try. So we know that if somebody sets the display state, that we want to start an animation. So we're gonna set an animation handle. We're gonna do 16 cuts, and then the interval is 100 milliseconds. I don't know. It shouldn't really be interval, right? It should be speed. Okay, so if I can count on this transition being here, then I think I can make some progress down here when we're expecting it. So okay. Let's start with the line. And instead of looking for the display state of circle to line, let's say we don't have that anymore. We need something else. So it's not just it's going to be line, but then there's also going to be an if it's a line and this dot animation handle. So if we're animating a line, so let's move this. Let's move this here. Did that work? I think so. So let's do this first. Ugh, that was awful. The indentation of that was bad. That's right, though. That's what I want. That is fine. That. Why did it indent so awful? Okay, but that's okay. So we're gonna check first if it's a line and there's an animation handle. Do you mind committing to a branch I can't test? Just give me a second. Give me a second. I want to see if this confirms or not the idea I'm having in my head. Okay, so if we're transitioning basically from a line to something else. Yeah, to a circle. So we're still in a line, but we're animating, which means we're going to a circle. Oh, which is actually, I totally did this wrong. I grabbed the wrong, I want this circle to line code. And it's in the right spot. It's in the right spot. So that's perfect. So if instead of display state line to circle, we just say display state line and this dot animation handle. So now we know we're animating from line to circle, if this is the case. Updating other props while this animation is running will most likely break it. Maybe. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, so we've got this transition. Scale linear. Yeah, so I'm creating these scales on the fly based on based on where we are in the data array. We're creating. I don't need this. I'm gonna let this go and see if it works. Center. Yeah, I already have center. I can get rid of this. I've got radius. I've got theta. Yeah, theta. Do I have bucket spread? Yeah. All right, let's just see what has broken at this point. Failed to compile, 73, animation handle. I had a lot of weird comments going on around here. Set interval. I think I just don't have, I think I just need a parens. No? Constant count equals 0. That's it. Okay. Ah, we got somewhere kind of close. Okay, count is read only. Oh yeah, I can't make count constant. Duh. Update display is not a function on 80 because it's just update, right? Component did update. We're going to call this dot update. And this really needs to be else, right? Otherwise we're going to update. We don't want to update every time component did mount, or else this would happen over and over. No? That's not true. We're always going to update? Okay. No, that's sorry. I don't understand what you're saying. I thought this might cause like a... Oh, my son pressed the keys. Nice. Okay, so it didn't do exactly what I wanted, but it did break. So, I mean, that's sort of progress. So let's check this out here. So right here, I'm gonna stop. Okay. So we've already rendered, so I can already tell we haven't defined a transition yet. So the first thing we gotta do when this happens is say this dot transition equals 0, because it's gonna update right away and we need to let it know that it's in the middle of a transition. Render output still looking at this props.display state. Render output? Render output cells? It is, yeah, here. Yeah, I mean, I want to, right? I think I want to look at that. That's good. I want it to look at because it's going to set it right here, and I'm deciding how I'm going to show the circles dependent on the display state and whether the animation handle is set. If I see the display state is line and there's an animation handle that's set, I know I'm going from line to circle. Okay. Okay, where was I? What was the break? Oh yeah, transition. That's what I just updated. I'm going to use animation handle as one of the conditions because I know if there's an animation handle that I'm transitioning from one to the next because I'm going to clear it as soon as the transition's over. So I'm going to use the state as the original state, the display state. If there's no animation handle, I know I'm in that state. If there is one, I know I'm moving to the other state. Here's where I want to cut right here. I press line. Transition is 0, so count over. So this is going to be 0 again. That's strange. That's not exactly what I expected. Hold on. So as soon as I press this, it shouldn't render yet. Okay, it's not rendered yet. Over, over, over. We are display state line. It's not equal circle. Oh, that's wrong. Why did I do that? If display state, oh yeah, this just means if it's changed. Okay, so yes, we're gonna go into this. Okay, have not re-rendered yet. And so, but once we get, so here's the thing that bothers me. It's gonna update. I don't want it to update yet. All right, I want the animation to update it. So as soon as we go here, it updates, and now I've got a circle. I don't want a circle. So that's why I was trying to put that update elsewhere. And then you said no, and I thought it was you, but I think it might have been your son. So I'm gonna manually, not manually, but I mean, I'm gonna call update here. And I'm gonna call update. Oh, I could just return there, you're right. I hate returning within functions though. I mean, within conditions. I would prefer to try and return at the end of the method. But so this will work too, right? It's just a little bit more explicit. When you return in the middle of a condition, if you're not within that condition reading it, you're not aware of that context. So I try not to return from within conditions. I'll do something in the conditions and then use that state to make a decision later. So in this case, each one of these, this is going to update it if the prop changed, or value changed, and this is going to animate an update if the display state changed. Otherwise, if anything else changes, which it won't, because these are the only two things that I'm allowing it to change right now, so why don't I just take it out? Let's see. Okay. So I want to hook right here, and so we're not going to animate it yet. I'm not going to change those for this one. The cyclic encoder, I don't even have code for it to update yet. I'm probably not going to, this is not going to update because of page state changing. Other ones I might do it, but I think for this one, no. Okay, where are we at? So we're in the animation now. We're going to calculate the transition, which should start at 0. The next one should be 1. Okay, we're not cutting, we're just going to update. Oh, it didn't do it. It didn't do it. Okay, something's wrong. So the transition is being updated, right? So, and the transition is a number from 0 to 1. So let's go up here and figure out what's going on. Reset encoder, render output cells. Dive in there. So right here, we should be able to, let's pause right here. So we're creating the data array. Display state is circle. So that's the problem. The display state's already updated to circle, and that's not actually what I wanted. I think I just set. Oh yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? Okay, so I'm just gonna have to change my logic a little bit, since I'm allowing the toggle button to set the state. So I have to assume, okay, that's now the state I'm moving to, not the state I'm coming from, which I can do. Okay, so in component did update, we're gonna assume that this is the state we're moving to. because apparently React is going to set this and I don't. Actually, wait a minute. This doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense, does it? Right here is where the display state should be. Oh, I'm going to let React manage this state. So I'm not going to do this. We'll let React manage the state. And so now bear with me here. Down here, if we're in a circle, we do a circle. If we're in a circle and, actually this is now going to be line. No, circle. If we're moving to a circle, that's what this is. I don't think so. Wait, did you just write that? Circle, does this also need a circle and animation handle? No. See, I think Dave, maybe you're not understanding the way D3 is working here. So this is going to happen on every animation. This data structure is going to be recreated on every animation, and this transition that we're using from 0 to 1 is going to help us decide at what step of the animation we're in, and that will decide what CX and CY is for each circle in each little circle in the big circle. So if we're a circle, it's easy. If we're going to a circle, we're animating to a circle, it's a little harder, right? So does animation happen for circle to line and line to circle? Yeah, that's the idea. So I'll have like this bit here for one and this bit here for the other, and that's it. Once I get these little things hooked up, it should work. So this one's going to be line to circle, and that's the thing. Yeah, line to circle. Yeah. Let's see where we're at here. Okay. So display state. Oh, so I need to put this whole bit here. Before. Let me grab this whole bit here. I need to put this here. There we go. So I'm putting it before circle just so I can say if we're moving to a circle, let's say transitioning to circle, or we are a circle. Circle, no transition. All right. Okay. Okay, we're making progress. Linear scale is not defined. That's because I forgot to create it, I think. There's this linear scale, which I've commented out somewhere. This is one I've already created. It's called value to scale. What is it called? It's in Orient D3. Here it is, val to screen. This is the one I want. Bits to output, I think. It's one of these. It might be bits to output display. It's one of these. Actually, I think it's bits to output display. So let's do that one. What line was that? 195. Okay, so this scale linear doesn't work, but this should work. Bits to output display. Yeah, because this is the bit index, and this will tell us where in the output display it needs to be. And now this ratio to top, oh, I don't know if that's still gonna work anymore. We'll find out. Okay, ratio to top is not defined. That's because I changed it. I think I just hard-coded something, didn't I took that out and I replaced it with just top cell padding, I think. I'm not sure that's it, top cell padding. I'm not sure if this is gonna work. Ah, it worked! Check it out. All right, I mean, there's a little bug there, but that's what I'm talking about. It didn't quite work, but it worked well enough to cheer. Ooh, now we got some problems, but okay, now it worked once. It worked once the first time. Okay, but we can move along with this. So the rest of the issues are probably just because we haven't hooked up the others, like transitions and everything. Yeah, push to production. Okay, so I will commit this. It's buggy, but I will commit it right now. And I'm gonna take off because I'm gonna work a little bit on this offline, and I have some other things that I need to do with the Numenta anomaly benchmark. So let me get this in production, and you guys, if anybody has any questions or anything, let me know. Otherwise, I am going to wrap it up for the day. All we have changed is this one cyclic scalar encoder. What did I miss here? Okay. Change the name. Time to go swimming. That sounds good. Okay, animation handle. So I'm gonna delete this stuff because I think we pushed through it. I think the rest is gonna be simple. That's the hard part. Getting that first little spike through and seeing something work is the hard part. But I think we're on the right track here. All right, and a lot of code changes here. This is gonna get a little more complicated as we keep going, but and we haven't done this transition yet, circle to line, or actually this is, yeah, circle to line, but it's basically the same thing, just backwards. That's it. Okay, looks good to me. Let's just do it via this. Cyclic encoder, line to circle. Transition complete, but buggy. Just leave it at that. And get push origin cyclic scalar. There you go, everybody. That's a wrap. It's a wrap. Thanks everybody for joining me for building HTM systems. We are wrapping it up now, so I think I'm just gonna wrap it up and leave you guys be. Take care. Thanks a lot. I will probably be back tomorrow, if not Wednesday.